Hey guys, it's Christina from the Career School. I'm continuing the conversation about digital wellness at work with some really nice foundational steps to take when you are creating that good, well space for your all your digital stuff. Um, I think that the topic is quite important to me because when I first went completely digital with my career back during the pandemic, the company I was working for went fully remote. And of course, like all the other companies out there that did the same thing, we had our own little challenges to overcome and work on. But also just as an employee, as a person who's just trying to do my job, where I used to be in this space and now I'm in this space. Of course, it changed everything for me, and so many things were different. And I went from maybe socializing quite a bit because I was working in an office with a bunch of other people to being completely isolated at home at my computer all day long. And probably many of you are familiar with this idea that's like you spend literally like 8 hours on your computer all day, and then you kind of spend like all night on your phone or in front of the TV at night. So, of course, our lives are like deeply, deeply saturated with technology from dawn to dusk. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a word, digital wellness is not about demonizing technology. It's just about working with technology in a really good, healthy way. So, anyway, I love this topic because I feel like I have experienced the other side of it, which is digital unwellness. And I really loved learning about this topic and I love sharing what I'm learning. And, I'm also like a student here as well as like, I'm still in the digital space. I still want to, work on all these things. But I want to preface this video with this. The whole world right now, I feel like social media and whatever, all media is like all about these shoulds. You should be optimizing this. You should be doing this. Should. Okay. And one thing my sister used to always say to me is you should never should on your life because to be honest, you can do whatever you want. Live a beautiful life. Don't live a life full of obligation and all these shoulds. Okay. What I'm teaching today is simply like if you're interested in it, if it's something that you would like to try, or if it's something that resonates with you, please take it on and enjoy it. And if you're at a place where you're like, Christina, I need my 8 hours of Instagram a day plus my 8 hours on my computer, go away. Okay, bye. Enjoy. As long as you are happy, healthy, and well, I do not care, okay, I'm not trying to demonize anything. If you find enjoyment and fulfillment, watching your TikToks and all sort of stuff, amazing. Like, please enjoy your life. That's the whole point, right? Is just to enjoy your life. But if you maybe feel a bit like me, how I have been feeling and maybe have, experienced in the past, if you're feeling like a bit burned out or exhausted or overwhelmed or a bit like, ready for like, just to like pause, maybe these things are nice for you. Okay. So here are these basics of digital wellness when you have a digital career. So the first thing that is recommended is to remove all unnecessary noise. Okay. So what this typically looks like is that on your computer and on your cell phone, the first thing you can do is just turn off any unnecessary notifications. Okay, don't turn off the notifications of when your mom is sending you a message because even if it's 2 a.m. in Chiang Mai, she might still have something important to tell you. Don't turn off those notifications. But, if it's, sales adverts from Target, well, look, okay, I don't get to be blessed with Target for many, many months while I'm traveling, so I don't need the notification 6 times a day. So all you have to do, I wish I had my phone, it's charging right now. Um, Go to your settings, wherever your settings are, just turn off all those unnecessary notifications. Only leave the ones you want. Only leave the absolutely necessary ones. Okay, do this on your phone, do this on your computer, and already this will help to decrease all that noise. It will decrease a little bit of that stress because every time you get a notification and it's blaring at you here or blaring at you there, it cuts your attention, whatever you're doing, whether you're cooking or trying to focus on writing an email or whatever, it breaks your attention. And I think it's old news now, but it's like once your attention is broke, it's not just the 2 seconds that it takes to read the message. It actually takes you like, several minutes to get back into what you were doing and refocus again. So that's the first thing. Remove unnecessary noise. Okay. Two and three are section out times. So when you're working, you will need to do two things. You will need to have a section of work which is like called deep work, and you will have to have a section of work which is like what do they call it? Shallow work. Okay, so it's like shallow and deep, right? So deep work is just time that you carve out for yourself. That's like I'm not going to answer emails. I'm not going to answer notifications. I'm not going to answer Slack, Facebook, whatever. Okay. I'm not gonna, you know, as long as it's not an emergency, right? I'm gonna block it out, right? Blinders, right? So you can do this maybe, maybe you have an important project or something you really need to think about and focus on. Carve out time. Okay. Just carve out time. Um, so turn stuff off, put stuff away. I think during these times, these deep work times, take your phone and put it in the other room. Turn TVs off. If you can, close doors if you have other people in your house, so while you're trying to work. This will help a lot. Um, the other thing I will say about deep work is that you don't have to only do it when you have like important things. It might also be valuable for you because actually your brain, even though AI is amazing, your brain is still the most complex, beautiful, intelligent, cohesive, creative thing machine you have. And if you block off time for yourself just to think, sometimes you can find solutions to problems that maybe you've been struggling with for days or weeks, or you will come up with creative ideas. It's people are talking about now that actually boredom is one thing we've lost in the modern age, and we need boredom, to come up with these solutions and ideas. So maybe also carve out deep work time when you just need some time to think. This is also allowed. All right. Shallow work time. So shallow work time is when you do need to answer all those notifications and Slack and, emails and, whatever the little other things are, Microsoft Teams, all the sort of stuff, right? So sometimes we do have to take these time to deal with all these little things. And you know what? Take that time. I actually kind of like that time because it's like a little bit of a break. It's like, oh, I just have to like, answer these messages and do these like light work tasks. Like it's a little break from the big task. So also schedule your time to do that. I think the important thing about scheduling and blocking these times is that if you don't, they tend to just mush together and you have an entire 8-hour workday, which is super busy, but you don't actually get anything done. So, so, do the boundaries, right? Block out time, block out your deep work time, block out your shallow work time. And the last thing, which is to do mostly with the digital health, but also, I think it's important with this whole like digital wellness when you're working a remote job, is making sure you build an offline life. So I know this seems so crazy to like have to say in this modern age, but make sure you have some hobbies outside of your phone. Okay, we all need to vegetate and lay in our own, filth a bit and, on a Saturday and scroll the phone. We all need some time to like, just be a puddle. But make sure you are creating things in your life which are offline. So like, do you like to go for a little walk, walking your dog, or maybe going out for coffee with a friend, okay? Whatever it is, eating street tacos. I don't know, just there's all kinds of stuff out there that's outside the digital space. And it's important for you to think of those things and to actively plan and chase those things, because it's so easy to just sit back and scroll the phone and sit back and spend all of our time on our TV or computer or whatever. And if you're looking to make some more space, for analog life in your life, you do have to be intentional about it in this day and age because it's just too easy just to like, do the digital thing. So anyway, those are the foundations there, and they are sort of what people talk about in like this whole like creating digital wellness in a digital career. So anyway.